years late to the festivities at this point, but I just want to say I wholeheartedly agree with everyone who has said that Elizabeth and Belle bear some striking similarities. The developers of Bioshock Infinite have even admitted to drawing inspiration from Disney princesses when they were characterizing Elizabeth, specifically Rapunzel from Tangled, Ariel from The Little Mermaid, and, obviously, Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Though I, as many others do, personally believe that the latter possesses the strongest resemblance to one of the best companions in gaming history. It's apparent in their looks, for one thing. They both wear blue and white slim-fit dresses. They wear their brunette hair in loose, low ponytails with strands that fall in front of their faces. They're even both in their 20s. Their personalities also share many parallels. They are nonconformist, wondrous spirits with a swan-like grace, a biting wit, and even a little bit of mischief to boot. These ladies even have a great sense of sarcastic humor. The scene where Belle humiliates Gaston especially has me in stitches every time I watch it. Because of their demonstrably tremendous amount of free will, their determination knows no bounds, as they possess goals that are seemingly greater than themselves. However, due to their lack of experience in the real world, their naivete is exposed when faced with decisions, and are impulsive to the point of getting themselves into trouble. Of course, over time, they become ready for anything, though this is much truer of Elizabeth than of Belle. Regardless of how they cope, they soon grow in tune with their realities. The fact that they are well-read contributes immensely to their intelligence, merit, and receptivity. Though it is because they choose to adopt such progressive attributes that they are as respectable as they are. For all their strengths, though, they also have their fair share of flaws beyond the ones mentioned earlier, which render them three-dimensional. We all know how manipulative, cold, and bitter Elizabeth becomes in her revenge against Comstock. But even Belle can arguably be considered kind of morally ambiguous as well. Think about it, does she ever really even try to connect with the townsfolk throughout the film? She only ever responds favorably to those who cater to her quirks, and exclusively helps the individuals who she feels need and or deserve it, like her father Maurice and the Beast. Before she goes to live with the Beast, she spends a majority of her time isolated from everyone who isn't Maurice or the librarian, and yet complains about this provincial life, rather than actually putting in the effort to enlighten the people for their own good, or at least trying to understand them and seeking common ground. At the end, she chooses to leave the town behind having not left any kind of meaningful impact, but rather going against people she never took the time to learn about all her life. So to them, yes, she probably sucks as a person, but we don't entirely blame her for thinking this way, however inconsiderate it may be. You can't force change or impose any sort of belief onto someone who isn't willing to take that step on their own accord, which is precisely what both Belle and the Beast do, hence why the relationship blossoms naturally and meaningfully. They ultimately do what's right for them, and this is the more realistic approach to dealing with their problems. But anyway, Belle is one of my all-time favorite fictional characters, and so it is amazing to be able to engage with a character that is similar to her in video game form. I'm definitely going to talk more about Belle and Beauty and the Beast in general in future videos. When I start streaming, I'd also like to revisit Bioshock Infinite, as it's been a long time for me, and there's a lot that I've forgotten that might have contributed greatly to this topic. It'd even just be nice to talk about the game as a whole retrospectively as I play, and see how it holds up after all this time, being considered one of the greats and all. So, just a few of many things to look forward to. Thanks for listening!